No, they're not. So we'll keep on doing our broadcasting voices, of course, because just in case it cuts in, so we sound professional. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to FGM eCast. We are here, we are live, and we have voices here tonight at Chicagoland Speedway for the trucks. Sorry, a couple of technical issues there. Luckily fixed by Stuart Brown. Stuart, how are you going tonight?
I think I'm back. Yes, I am. Look at that. Amazing. So I just, for the third time, do the intro again tonight after the first two didn't come through. So, again, you will have seen me miming at the start of this one. And for anyone who can work out what I said, there will be a prize in the mail. But basically what Carl just said there, except I did say I'm joined by Carl Whiffy tonight on the stream. And Ed Foster of Natari Autosports is currently leading this championship. And at Chicagoland tonight, Carl, we saw a fantastic race here in the Xfinity the Xfinity car, or even Thunder Series last Wednesday evening, and we're hoping to see a little bit more of that extended green period of the race right at the start there. I think, what did we get, 20, maybe 25 laps through before we had any caution periods?
With the Xfinity at Chicagoland, we had green till green. It was very much a no-incident race on that one. Of course, we had the Cup race that had a couple more cautions in it, but yeah, Xfinity went very well for us last time out. We were at Sonoma, of course, with the Cups last week. Everything gets jumbled up this time of the year, as we are, of course, mid-season, and everything is starting to blend into one giant motor race.
It is indeed, and speaking of which, we're missing the Cup race this week. It's sort of our mid-season break this week. And when I say mid-season break, Tuesday night, tomorrow night, we don't have any streaming. No Oz Pro-Am, that's on its season hiatus. And on Thursday night, it is a gap week in the NASCAR Cup Series as well as it is in real life. But we managed to fill the void there with our special event, and we'll talk about more about that throughout the stream. But we are still here with the trucks tonight. Did you want to run us through the leaderboard?
Yeah, absolutely. So up in the lead of the championship, we have Edward Foster. He's got a 4-point lead over Daniel Hedesheed in second. 18 points back in third is Nathan Clark. 29 points back is Josh Micklemore in fourth, with Jason Martin fifth, 33 points down. Matty Raymond sitting sixth, 34 points off the leader, 35 points for Hamish Cleland in seventh. Michael Scullock in 8th, 37 points down. 9th is James Robbie, 41 points down. And rounding out the top 10 is Christopher Finley, 44 points off the lead. So very much all to play for in the Truck Championship. That is a very, very close battle that we're going to be having there.
Nice full field again here tonight. We've got 34 trucks on the track at the moment. And as we just see Jason Martin there pop a motor, he won't want to be doing that during the race. There's someone bouncing around down on track there. That was the number 2 of Brody Masters. He's had a good, strong start to his entrance into the ANZCAR racing. Of course, a really good run at the dirt race we had a few weeks ago.
Yeah, we've seen some good, strong contenders in there. It's interesting, actually, just to note up at the top of the leaderboard, neither Foster or Hedesheed have a victory under their belts yet. So it's all down to consistency and points. So always fun when you've got championship leaders who haven't won a race yet. So they'll be eager to get that W under their belt so they can at least tick that off for this season. Everybody likes getting a win here and there, of course. So imagine those two to be trying to get a victory tonight.
Absolutely, none more than this man on screen at the moment, Kate Donnelly. He's had a tough run this season, and another one, of course, as well, is this man, Josh Micklemore, too. He's been the bridesmaid a few times, leading last week when his internet cut out.
Yeah, he had two internet connection failures
on the Wednesday and the Thursday night, so he'll be hoping for none of those tonight.
Fingers crossed that it does not strike 3 times for him. 3rd time is the charm, and it won't be causing any problems tonight for him, because, yeah, that was a real shame. We were robbed of some good racing from Josh Micklemore. We know he's fast, but dropping out, especially that late in the race as well, is always heartbreaking. It's that thing of a technical failure. Of course, you have them in real motorsport. Sometimes it's your tyre blowing up out of nowhere. Sometimes it's your engine just deciding to fail. In sim racing, it is often the internet deciding it's had enough, or your steering wheel just deciding to switch off mid-corner or something like that. So very different failures, but they are failures nonetheless.
Or your VR, Carl.
Less said about that, the better, I think.
So, so we've got only about 6 minutes to go here before we get into solo qualifying. So the guys are just getting in a little bit of practice. For those of you joining us for the first time, it is a fixed setup series here put on by ANZCAR, the premier oval track race organisers in Australia, if you don't mind. And the guys here get an unlimited set of tyres. I don't think we've got any races where we have restrictions on the number of tyres in this category. And generally we see a field of around about 30 to 40 cars. So very popular. It is a, well, it's actually not. I mean, it's designed as a feeder series, would you say, Carl, for the ANZCAR main game. But of course now we've got the Thunder series running as well on a Wednesday night. And this series is so popular in its own that a lot of the drivers who run the main series run this as well.
Well, that's it. It's much like full metal NASCAR racing, of course. You know, you have the drivers that run in the Cup Series who also run Xfinity and trucks because they love racing so much. Sometimes the old schedule conflicts a bit too much, but when they can, they will do it, absolutely. And it's the same in this series. Now, of course, the trucks and the Xfinity are there to help some of the newcomers get used to racing, but it's also good to get used to racing those guys at the top of the game, because when you start actually getting some good speed and you can actually see that you're sort of catching up or holding on to those guys that take Cup victories week in, week out, you know that you're getting ready to jump up to that series. So it's always a good little option to sort of get some running in and just get an idea of what your pace is. But it's also welcoming to newcomers. So, you know, if you are new, if you are looking to come in, then the trucks or the Xfinity, definitely the series to look into, just to really get an idea of how it runs, because it is quite useful just to get a bit of an idea of how it goes on ovals, because it is a very different form of racing.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of the guys just enjoy driving the truck as well. It's a good bit of fun, a little bit different to drive than the Cup. And of course, with the series, the Premier Series covering the full NASCAR calendar, a lot of the tracks there's crossover, so it's a good opportunity to practice with some of the other guys you run with as well in that main game. So having said that, I did just notice that there's one massive absence from our grid tonight, and that is one Michael Skurlock.
Yeah, no Scully out there at the moment. He may creep in with some time to go, but usually he's around a bit earlier than that, so might not be seeing Mr. Skurlock tonight. Which is always a shame. We love seeing Scully out there, but sometimes commitments do come into play, unfortunately. One of the other nice things as well about the Truck and Xfinity series is it's a slightly smaller schedule. So with the Cup series, of course, that runs all year long, 25 million races in that series. So, you know, when you only have to do about 12 races, it does make a difference. So it's a little bit less time consuming, and there are a couple of extra seasons split up. So if you miss that first season, then at least you can get it in on the second season and sort of get a few races in, of course.
Absolutely. And just left the camera here on Jaden Russell sitting in pit lane. Here's a man who's had a really, really strong entry into the series, and currently sitting third fastest during this practice session. He was running, or has been running up the front for a majority of his participation, which has been relatively short. So he's going to be an interesting driver to watch tonight, and see if he can get away for a win here.
One of those new drivers to the ANZCAR series, but has experience underneath his belt. Got a feeling this is Jaden's fourth time out, so he's had some really good finishes. He's been up in the top 5 already this season. He's not done every race, so he's missed one race, but the races that he's done, he has been very impressive, and we've seen that with a lot of the new faces out there. They've brought some speed over and had to really making everybody have to step up their game a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, actually. In comparison to last season, this is a much faster field. We're talking with some of the drivers in the general Discord after the races last week, and they were just saying how much quicker the whole group is actually. That, you know, drivers that used to be able to walk away with things just aren't quite able to do that anymore, because the pace here has increased and the general standard across all of the cars. Not that we had issues last season in the trucks with driving standards, but just certainly with the pace and the driving standard improvement, it's been really impressive.
Yeah, of course. Myself not being out there has given the opportunity for those top 10 finishes for a lot more drivers, of course. Cough, cough. But yeah, we've seen some really impressive drivers out there this year, and it's been great to see. We love seeing new faces come into the sport as well, because without new faces, things grow stale and they die, you know, and that's the thing. And we need to have some fresh blood coming in. Seeing it come in and actually perform well is really, really important. Another driver that is doing that is Daniel Hederschied. Obviously, a lot of experience out on road courses and in some of the other series. Not so much on ovals, but he has been very impressive indeed. So really good to see those guys coming in, and also giving those guys like Ryan Jones, like Foster, you know, people that have been around for a long time, that do a lot of speed and have a lot of speed underneath them, a bit of a wake-up call going, you know, there are these fast guys coming up, and it only takes one of them to jump in, and then all of a sudden your race can go from consistent top 5s to sort of top 10 finishes, because you've got some fresh blood coming in.
There's Ryan Jones just practicing his post-race celebration there. He is fastest in practice so far, but he's had a little bit of trouble, self-confessed, converting his practice pace into qualifying pace. So he'll be looking to get away with a good one here tonight in qualifying, and get up to the front end of the field here. He's one of the stronger runners, but just had a little bit of bad luck running back in that mid-pack, which can happen, of course. So we'll keep an eye on Ryan. In fact, you know what? We might stick with Ryan for our qualifying lap. We generally jump on with the car that's out first. So we might change that up a little bit this week. Ryan's on track already there, so we'll jump on board with him. Carl's going to give us one of his now, I think, probably global and trending calls of a lap around a track, and we'll stick with Ryan for this one, unless he doesn't decide that he's going to go straight out, in which case, no, there he goes. No, in which case, won't be conducive for good TV, so we'll just wait till he gets underway here. We'll get up to speed. You get 2 flying laps here. No other trucks on track, of course. We don't want drafting or any of that other stuff affecting the results, so we're looking for 2 of the best. Here, Carl's second lap going to be faster.
With the tyres tonight, it might be the first lap. It looks like people are struggling a little bit with the rear tyre temperatures, the back end stepping out. So let's go for a lap. So coming around the final couple of corners here, we're going to come on to the start-finish, not so straight. So got a bit of a dog leg here, that sort of tri-oval section. Ryan's going to make it as straight as possible, cutting across the corner. It's a bit like an egg shape here into turn number 1. Quite high banking here at Chicagoland. Got to be careful that the back end doesn't step out. All on the power, that back end is starting to step out for Ryan. He just catches it in time, but missing the wall by millimetres there. Down this back straight, not much of a straight again. It's a very short period until you come into turns 3 and 4. This is where the back end's going to step out a little bit more. There's a bit of a bump mid-corner. You can see the car just wiggling over the corners. Gets very close to the barrier there. Gets it under control. Gets across the line. Not the greatest lap from Ryan. That's going to be a bit of a slow one. He's going to want a better lap this time round. Hopefully his rear tyres will be up to snuff here, but they are starting to slide a little bit. Again, a lot neater this time round, not quite as much oversteer. Coming towards turns 3 and 4 once more. This is where you've just got to be careful. Just got to ease off the accelerator, just very slightly off the bumps. You're just going to ease it around, almost nursing the truck. This should be a better lap for Ryan now, as he comes down across the infield, cuts across the line, and goes up to P2.
Fantastic one there, just popping it in on the second lap. Edward Foster, provisional pole at the moment. Aidan Schultz pulls out a ripper as well. He's done a 31.10, currently sitting provisionally in third. Great lap from Aidan. Well done on that one. James Robbie in fourth, Nathan Clark in fifth at the moment. This provisional results. We've still got a fair few to run. Have a look back through the field here. Luke Treherne hasn't put in a qualifying lap. Jaden Russell, he's just popped straight up to the top. No mucking around there. We'll jump on board with Tristan.
It looks like those Looks like the tyres are switching on a little bit more on that second lap, so just taking a little bit of time just to get up to temperature maybe, and then that second lap they are just nice and sticky and just getting around the corner are much easier. It's quite a warm track temperature out there tonight. It's 44 degrees, so that's going to affect the rears a little bit tonight. Obviously, the hotter the temperature, the hotter the track is, the quicker the tyres start to fade away. Got Matty Raymond out on track as well, just doing his first lap. Mr. Sheen, indeed. He's going to try and keep it nice and clean tonight and go for another good finish. Hopefully he can get a good qualifying position. It's been the one thing that Matty Raymond has struggled with all season is qualifying, but his race pace is definitely there.
Yeah, he's been great during the race, and just again, it's the reason he's got that Mr. Sheen nickname. It keeps it clean, it just progresses him up into the top 10, and it's where he generally finishes most of his races. Just looking back through as well, I'd noticed, speaking of consistent finishes, we've got no Steve Williams tonight.
No, unfortunately, unfortunate not to see Stevie Dubb out there. A common contender, in all honesty. Stevie Dubb is very quick. Of course, season champion from last year as well. Well, last season, I should say, not last year. The season 1 champion for the trucks and a deserved champion as well. Just consistent all through that run. Luke Trahair right now on track as well. He's going to hope for a good qualifying run here in the Crank eSports car. Going to be putting the pressure on that vehicle, just getting it nicely turned in at the moment across the tri-oval section, across the line, and he's going to go and start on his second lap. He got a very good time on that last lap. Yeah,
31.13. Yeah, so
8:10.
He's left his run too late though. Didn't get his second lap in, and that was where the speed was. So might be ruining that one a little bit. Luke, just not quite getting out in time.
Not a bad first lap, though. That was decent pace. So one to watch out for in the race for sure. So let us go through the starting grid for tonight's race here at Chicagoland Speedway, round 5 of the ANZCAR Truck Series. So on the front row of the grid, we have Jaden Russell and Jason Martin. Second row is Foster and Jones. Third is Schultz and Robbie. Fourth, we have Clark and Mickelmore. Fifth is Hedesheed and Trahair. Sixth, we have Finley Davidson. Seventh is Dyson and Schroeder. Eighth, we have Dylan and Ergio. Ninth, we have Rankin and Raymond. 10th row is Phelps and Howe. 11th is Clark Vickers. 12th is Rolock and Koch. 13th, is Priest and Wellman. 14th, Taylor Howe. 15th, Hoppet Masters. 16th, Douglas Gray. And Donnelly and Shaw lining up the back row. Of course, Justin Howe will be starting from the back of the field tonight as well. So good qualifying, relatively good pace from Justin Howe, but he did cop a penalty last time out, so he'll have to start down a little bit further than he'll hope. So dropping down to the back of the grid for this race.
And of course, before we get started, a big shout out to AJ Insurance Services, our broadcast partners in crime. If you're looking for anything to do with commercial business insurance or even domestic insurance, I'm sure Joe and the team at AJ Insurance Services would be able to give you the advice that you need to make sure that you protect your assets. So if you are looking for that type of advice, do give AJ Insurance Services, Joe Daly and the team a call, or jump on their Facebook page and have a chat with them. They will certainly look after you as we get underway behind the pace truck.
Pacing up here tonight, Russell is going to be leading away. First pole, I think, for Jaden Russell in the series, so this will be a new experience for him, at least leading from the start. I think he's led a couple of restarts, so he should know the rules by now. Of course, the rule is the leader starts the race. It's not the green, it's the leader's prerogative, so he's going to be the one that drops the pedal first. Jason Martin will keenly be watching from that outside row, waiting for his moment to drop that loud pedal and start accelerating. So watch out for that one. It's going to be a question of where Jaden Russell drops that pedal once that pace truck comes in. So he can do it early, he can do it late, he can do it whenever he likes, but it's just getting that jump perfectly timed for him. Of course, Jason Martin, no slouch on the outside. He's going to be looking to get an advantage, and Foster sitting right behind him as well in that 53. He's going to be looking for a good run as well tonight, maybe thinking about conserving the championship. The pace truck has come in, and we're going to go green for Chicagoland Speedway for the ANZCAR trucks here tonight on FGM eCars. Jaden Russell gets a really nice start. Foster gets a good start on the low line, getting underneath Jason Martin. Behind him, Ryan Jones is starting to catch up to the group. You can see Aidan Schultz getting a good start ahead of Josh Micklemore as well, who's managed to jump a couple of trucks, but Jaden Russell getting the best start out of them all so far.
Yeah, absolutely. A good start there from Schultz. I was keeping an eye on Micklemore down on the low line. He moved down from the top of the track, got a really, really good start. He was all over the back of James
We've got a car going round.
We do indeed. Down in the infield, our first caution of the night. Looked like that might have been Nathan Clark. Yeah, he just got caught there. So we'll just quickly duck back to that one and have a look at it.
Yeah, so once we jump back to that one, not getting caught. He had a massive tank slapper on that one, so we'll watch that one. Mid-corner, you can see the back end has stepped out, and then all of a sudden, Heddershee down below has nowhere to go. Gets caught by Nathan Clark there. Just a little bit of damage to the front of Heddershee there. That's going to not make his night much easier, but Clark just having that big spin. Couple of cars just checking up in that, but no major damage other than Clark and Heddershee from what I can see. So the 43 of Luke Trehair as well. He got a little tag out of that one.
Lucky.
But yeah, absolutely very lucky, and he didn't get too much damage on that truck at all, so he's going to be pretty okay there.
That does look like the guys are just... Dave Douglas has jumped into pit lane, so has Nathan Clark, as you would expect. Circling around here, so we'll do a couple of laps behind the pace truck before we get back underway. Just to update you, it is Russell and Martin, Foster and Jones. We've got Schultz, Robbie, Micklemore, Trehair, who got lucky in that incident there, Daniel Heddershee and Troy Davison as our top 10 so far. Biggest mover Brody Masters up 4 spots on the start, if you don't mind, along with Cade Donnelly, who has managed to do the same.
Just watching Dave Douglas go through the pit lane, and he just came for a bit of a drive through the pit lane. So not sure what Dave was up to. I think he was just trying to drop to the back of the line a little bit there and just get a little bit further back to avoid problems, I think. So just trying to get a bit of a different position for that start. Just
Dave doing Dave things.
Exactly. He may have missed the commentary booth so much he sort of thought, I might pull in here for a second and have a quick chat to the guys, and then decided against it. Thought racing would be better. But wily chap Dave, he's probably just pulled in just to get a little bit further back, just in case there is another incident like that on the first couple of laps, just so he can keep safe.
Yeah, it's not a bad strategy at all. So if you're not too sure in that mid-pack. Well, speaking of the commentary booth, Scotty Rankin out there tonight, the 156 Haviline entry. Have a nice look to it, that one, with the bright fluoro wheels, but he's having a run, which is good to see. Enjoy having Scotty in the booth on a Tuesday night. He has dropped by the trucks from time to time, but of course definitely prefers to be out there on a Monday night. In front of him is Lachlan Urquio in the 42 entry. So he'll be looking for a good run. We're all gridded up here, ready to get going. Lights are out on the pace truck, and we'll be getting back underway in a few moments. It will be Jaden Russell again, who'll be in control of the field. Almost a carbon copy of what we'd already seen. Micklemore will be looking to get a good start like he did during the race here, and maybe make up a couple of positions, get past Aidan Schultz, who is in 5th position. But let's get this one back underway here at Chicagoland. And it is Jaden Russell who leads us away. He's got another good jump. Martin's gone with him this time. Foster's had a good start, as well as Ryan Jones. As Foster slots into that top line, he's going to try and get up in behind Martin here, who'll move down behind him. Just try and get some camera on that, and it has happened there. He's moved down under Martin, in fact. He's going to make up position there, Foster. So you can see Ryan Jones trying to go with Martin in the top line. We've got a train join in there. Trehair's joined on the back of teammate Schultz. As it was James Robbie just forced his way down there onto the low line. Ryan Jones there was sort of running 3 wide almost.
And we got rotation in the back. We've got a rotation, a big crash down the back of the field. Trying to figure out who that was. I think we may have seen Mick Taylor involved in that one. But it wasn't Mick involved in that one. It was Brody Masters, I think, may have been the main one in that one. Just have a look. Yeah, Brody Masters in the 2, going around with the 66. And there was a big impact lower down the field. Quite a few cars involved in that one.
Just trying to find Brody in my race list here. I can't even see him on track. What's going on there?
The number 2 he would be, so I'm sure if that helps.
Maybe there he is. He's a...
We'll try and have a bit of a look. So as you can see there, he just got caught up with the 66, went up and around, and then a few cars just went into the side of him, and really nowhere to go for those guys. So unfortunate for Brody Masters, just getting caught with the 66. A bit early to call who that was at fault, but Kay Donnelly got big heavy impact in that one, as well as Steve Hoppett as well.
Yeah.
Steve Hoppett really unfortunate in that one.
Not great in at all, and it's been a hairy start to this one, that's for sure, with a couple of early cautions.
Yeah, a few early cautions. I think that's Daniel Heddersheed coming into pit lane, so he's coming in to get some repairs done, because he was starting to fall back quite quickly with the damage to the front of that car. We see Ruben Phelps coming in as well for an actual pit stop. So a few people coming into pit lane for some stops right now. Tristan Koch, we've got Justin Howe, Nathan Clark coming in. So a few people coming in for a stop here to chuck some fuel on board, maybe get a few repairs done, and get some fresh tyres as well for the start of this race. Of course, no requirement on having tyres locked in, so that makes it a little bit easier. So you can sort of change as many as you like. You can use up a whole Brazilian rainforest worth of tyres if you choose to, but it's probably not the quickest way to race, stopping every lap, but it will help you on the end of this caution.
Yeah, absolutely. I just noticed that Dave Douglas jumped in again, so he's keeping his truck as fresh as an armpit full of deodorant, and he's got another set of tyres on it and chucked some more gas in it, so that thing is fueled up like it's the start of the race.
Yeah, that should be nice handling now as well. They've done 8 laps. With the track temperature as it was, there will be some tyre wear tonight, and those rears will start suffering quite quickly. I think it was around, what I was watching in practice, it was around about the sort of 15 lap mark, people were really starting to struggle with tyre wear. So he's going to have a little bit fresher tyres come the restart, so he should be able to gain a few positions. Rolling the dice a bit there, Dave, as well. So the other thing it does is it locks him in to be able to do a single green stop if we remain green here tonight, because we've got 100 laps. We're 10 laps down, so we've got 90 laps to do. So everybody's going to have to stop once. It's just where you have to stop, of course, because fuel will be a limiting factor in that one. If you can manage to make the truck go to lap 50, then you're going to be safe. With these cautions, this is going to help the fuel mileage out quite a lot, but you've got to make it to a point where the truck's going to make it to the end of the race. So Dave Douglas might be thinking ahead with that one. If it remains green, he could be in with a shot.
Yeah, and I was just checking the track temps as well, 44 degrees, so not literally the hottest place we've run at, but certainly warm out there. So as you say, the tyre wear will be there, particularly after, even though we've done 9 laps and 6 of them have been under caution, still on fresher rubber, but makes a lot of sense for him to do that. So the lights are out on the truck, the pace truck that is, and we are going to go green. And it is there. Jaden Russell drops the hammer again. Jason Martin this time misses a little bit. Ed Foster doesn't on the other hand. He is making progress on the inside of Jason Martin. We've got a good restart as well from Ryan Jones and James Robbie. In the 4th and 5th positions, Aidan Schultz gets a good start along with Josh Mickelmore. So the pack at the front here is congested, and then a little drop back to Luke Trahere. So going to have to be careful here. Aidan Schultz right on the tail there of Ryan Jones, pounding at the back of the 111 as we get around hopefully and get this race underway.
We just need some clean runs now. We just need everyone to get into a rhythm. You just need to not make contact with that car in front of you. Just get into a rhythm, get into a pace with the other cars around you and just feel comfortable. Of course, what you're going to have a little bit at the back of the field now is drivers on some very fresh tyres. They're going to start getting very racy. Once they get a little bit of heat in there, it's all something up into the wall there. That was Andrew Dyson. A big moment for Andrew Dyson there. He got contact with the 263, I think, possibly, just in front of Lachlan Oakvio, and he's just gone up into the wall. So that's a big shame. Andrew Dyson is there trying for championships as well, because we've seen him have some good speed, but he's going to drop right to the back of the field. But we are still green.
Yeah, I did see that in the back there. We're on board now with Ed Foster. He is all over the back of Jaden Russell. He's also got Jason Martin hounding the back of the 53 Atari Autosports entry. In fact, now it's Ryan Jones all over the back of him, as it looks like Martin makes a move down the inside. He does indeed. We're going 3 wide here on the exit. They're all getting a little bit squirrely, but managing to hold it there. Very experienced drivers across those 3, so doing a great job with some fantastic racing there. Ryan Jones down on the inside now, in behind Martin. Doing a ripping job here. The 41 of James Robbie on the outside. You've got Aiden Schultz behind Jones wanting to get involved as well.
Yeah, that was so close there. Ryan Jones just having a little bit of a moment with his tail. Just starting to get a little bit happy there for a second and just had to ease out a little bit. That's why he's dropped back a couple of positions. That made everybody else sort of just think twice about keeping their foot glued to the floor, and it's just broken up that lead pack a little bit. But James Robbie's getting a good run at the moment. He's having a great run on the tight side of on Jason Martin, as just a bit further behind, getting very close between Troy Davidson as well. Troy Davidson almost makes contact a little bit further behind, but they are okay for the time being. There's a really, really tight battling going across the field at the moment. It's that time of the night where it's hard to know where to look.
Absolutely, it is. That mid-pack there is great as well. Got another battle a little bit further back as well that Matty Raymond is trying to join onto the back. Sorry, that was of the lead pack, but this pack back here, we've got Scott Rankin who's just checking
Foster makes a bit of a mistake. His back end steps out. That's going to cost him and Jason Martin. They both managed to salvage that one, but Foster gets caught by Jaden Russell there. He manages to keep the car going straight. Another super save from Foster, but he's going to lose time as caution has come out.
Yeah, having him with 3 wide there just into the caution. It'll be elbows out, trying to get out of that, and probably no doubt catch his breath. See if I can go back and find that incident that caused the caution here. Let's go and have a look.
So I think it will be Philip Howe and Tristan Koch. So you can see Koch and Howe just get into each other there, and Howe's ended up spinning backwards across the track, going onto the grass, and then getting the truck back to the pit lane. So big moment. What this has done is given James Robbie the lead of the race. So James Robbie is our new leader after all of that madness there at the front. We almost had the biggest wreck you could see from the front of the pack, but the actual wreck came a little bit further down as there was a little bit of contact.
Yeah, I'm just going to cycle back here and see if I can find that event with Ed Foster there. I think I may have found it. So let's go back here and have a look.
So with this one, Jaden Russell just not sure. He just gets a bit high, has to turn in. He turns a bit too much and taps Foster. So he just gets very lucky to keep that car straight, because that was almost a huge crash.
That is absolutely tremendous there. Just probably not quite able to see. Actually, in fact, just seeing him blinking there a bit as well. So maybe just appearing on Foster. Not the cause of the caution, but once again, Foster showing off his drifting skills in the truck. Not conducive to pace, but definitely entertaining for us to watch. I'm sure moments he would prefer to do without.
Yeah, he's made some super saves the last couple of weeks, but he does not want to be making those saves. He wants to be fighting for the lead and not having to save the truck, so to say. What this has done is it's let those guys that came in on that last caution get up to the lead. So Wellman, Howe and Douglas are now up the front with Justin Howe in the lead of the race, I believe. It's on my screen.
Yeah, so, Justin Howe. Yep. Certainly in the lead with Wellman and Douglas. So you're right, that played out very, very well.
So their tyres are about 10 laps older than the group around them. So they will be pretty much on pace to get to their desired lap. So if it does remain green, they will be in with a good shout. You'll probably see them struggle a little bit on the early stages. So on the initial restart, they might just struggle a tiny bit for pace. But the thing that's going to help them out is the guys behind them are going to be on very cold tyres, so they need to get some heat into their tyres, whereas everybody else at the front will have some nice temperature in them. So that's the other flip side of that one.
Indeed, it is. So we'll see how they go on the restart. A matter of just getting the power down on a wheel spin, if they can avoid it, and not having the same braking issues potentially that Lewis Hamilton had overnight on the restart of that race.
Yeah, no touching the magic button for those guys, and they should be okay.
Isn't it amazing that there's a button on a Formula One car that turns off the brakes?
You've got to love motorsport, and especially Formula One and top tiers of motorsport, because there is some crazy stuff that they come up with. It's much more complicated than good old fashioned NASCAR racing, but just some of the ideas that the engineers have, just turning the brakes on more so you can warm everything up, turning them off effectively, just some crazy stuff that you would think, I would prefer just to have a car that just has brakes that work, in all honesty.
Stopping, I thought, was probably the precursor to the effectiveness of brakes, but apparently not. As we go around the lights out on the pace truck again for our third caution of the evening. We're racking them up here, but it is Gary Wellman and Justin Howe who pitted early with Dave Douglas, who are at the front here. James Robbie, first of our trucks on a new set of tyres, so he will be the one to look out for, along with Aidan Schultz, who's right behind Dave Douglas here. So they will be trying to make the most of those fresh tyres that they have put onto those trucks and to jump back up to the front. Tyre difference though not that great. We've got 9 laps between pit stops, and of course the couple of those laps for Douglas, Howe and Wellman served under the pace truck as well. So around about 8 laps difference or so between the two trucks. So they'll be just trying to fight them off until the tyres normalise again, and we'll see how they go with that as the truck will pull in and we'll get this one back underway.
Yeah, I've got to say, watch out for Dave Douglas here. A old head on a young pair of shoulders. I'll be nice to Dave for once. But a very experienced driver, and he's one to watch out for. No discounting Justin Howe and Gary Wellman. They've had some good races this season, but Dave Douglas has got a lot of experience under the belt, especially on these ovals. James Robbie as well, having a good run up there too. But you just see those guys pulling away nicely at the front. Justin Howe getting a really nice launch over Gary Wellman. Dave Douglas is going to have that inside line now. He's going to use that to his advantage, and he's just going to pull along Aidan Schultz with him and Josh Micklemore as well, as Schultz just gets a little bit wide there, just trying to defend and trying to put James Robbie off a little bit. But that low line seems to be pretty strong at the moment, as you can see Dave Douglas charging his way to the front of the field.
Yeah, good move there. Howe just getting a little loose up into the high line. With 4 wide down across the apron. Great driving here from all of our drivers. Look at that, what a great shot. The Schultz just slides up there in behind the 78 of Howe. Dave Douglas on the high line now. Schultz has got some pace in at the 52. Crank Esports entry. He's looking for a round. Oh, he's got him. He's tagged him.
Big impact there. Big impact there, unfortunately. And that is going to cost Schultz a lot of time.
Just trying to keep up with it there and see if he actually ended up into anyone else. It looks like miraculously somehow managed to thread the needle there. Let's have a look at the replay.
I tell you who to look from is Lachlan Urquio. Watch from Lachlan Urquio if we can in a moment, because he had the best view of this one. But it was very, very close there. That was almost a massive crash. That was just a tiny bit of contact there, just a little bit of the car running sideways up in front, and then all of a sudden Aidan Schultz is going sideways, bouncing up into the wall, and Lachlan Urquio has got very lucky there.
Yeah, the 45 there, Gary Wellman, not so lucky, unfortunately. He got a double whammy there from that one, but we'll jump back and have another look at this from Urquio's perspective.
So as we will hopefully see, you just see how close he gets to Schultz, and it just darts it down. He just manages to catch it there as well. Unfortunately, drops out for a couple of seconds just after that. So we miss the final moments of that, but he gets through unscathed. So extremely lucky, and you can see there Gary Wellman just getting caught by Schultz as well. Aiden Schultz just trying to settle the truck down so it doesn't spin too much before locking on the brakes, so to avoid the extra accidents. But a big shame from Aiden Schultz there.
Scratch on the 42. ANZCAR Esports entry, Combined Racing League Esports entry there of Lachlan Urquio. So, and it is. Strategy's played out well here. Look, he's at the front. 199 of Big Dave Douglas. So he'll be pretty happy with how things have played out so far. Ryan Jones right behind him. Ryan on fresher tyres. So he's going to have to contend with that. Wheel spin control going to be the thing that makes the difference there for Dave. But as you said, experienced driver, so he'll know what to do. Justin Howe retained his position as well, not at the front, but in third place as a consequence of the restart and the caution. So they're now out there on the oldest tyres. Everyone else has either pit under this caution or pit under the prior one. So you're going to have a little bit of work to do.
He will, but he should be in a relatively good spot at the moment for this restart as well. Hopefully what we'll see now is people just settling down a little bit. We've had a few cautions so far, a few incidents, and a couple of easy to miss incidents, you got to say. Just those little tiny incidents you get at the start of the race. People just need to start settling in now because there's still a long way to go. We've got 85 laps to go. Sorry, maths there on the top of my head is never a fun thing, but we've still got 3/4 of the race to go, so a long way to go in this race still. Hopefully we will see some good clean racing from now on. Fingers crossed, touch wood, and all that usual stuff. But Dave Douglas sitting out in front at the moment, it looks to be running a very good strategy. 30 positions gained so far this race. He started down in 31st, he's now in first position.
Indeed, so we've got, what have we got here? About half a dozen drivers who aren't on the lead lap anymore. So, and a couple who are out of the race. Brody Masters, Cade Donnelly, and it looks like Andrew Dyson, as well as Philip Howe out of the race so far. Steve Hoppett's still running around, so he's got a couple of laps to make up here, but is still out and participating. That's what we like to see. And Tristan Cock will be the lucky dog this time around. No, that actually that race has already run. My apologies. I think that may have already gone through.
I think the lucky dog has already slipped his way through and got up to a slightly better position in that one. So they're just going to settle down now, hopefully, and start getting things a little bit more under control, because yeah, it's just been a bit of a rough one so far. I think all those cautions that didn't happen in the Xfinity race have bred up and sort of lent themselves to the Truck Series race this week, unfortunately. But as is the way of motorsport, sometimes it can be an absolutely perfect race with nothing at all. Other times you can have a few moments and things can go wrong.
Absolutely, that is the case.
It's always much more fun if things go right, but yeah, sadly, there's always that moment where things go wrong, and it's not easy to keep it going when it happens. And as we've often said in motorsport, is cautions breed cautions, and it is often the case, of course, because you get behind the pace car, you lose a little bit of that speed, you lose a bit of tyre pressure and a little bit of tyre temperature as well. And then as you get the car back to racing speeds and things like that, the car handles a bit differently. It throws you out. It's not an easy thing to get used to at all. But Dave Douglas in the 199 is going to lead us away. He's got Ryan Jones on his outside. You can see behind Josh Mickelmore just looking for a little bit of clean air for a moment, just watching for that restart before he gets up underneath Justin Howe. He's going to try and make a move, I think, go 3 wide there. Here's Josh Mickelmore going to hold it. He's going to try for that inside line. It's not going to work out for him at the moment, but he goes for it anyway. Justin Howe managing to get up into second position at the moment. Ryan Jones just behind him. It looks like James Robbie is working his way up there too, with Lachlan Urquio as well. So another strong run from Lachlan up the front as well. So he's going to be hoping to keep that one up to build up on the results of last time out. Dave Douglas has managed to get the lead as a bit of a snap for Justin Howe there. Causes a couple of cars just to take a bit of evasive manoeuvre, and that caused James Robbie just to fall out of the pace a little bit.
Yeah, Robbie just got stuck up into the wall there, just trying to avoid when they're running 3 wide. Still cold tyres, 3 wide's pretty aggressive at the restart, but these guys aren't mucking around. Dave Douglas and Ryan Jones set out off in the distance. You can see in the background there, you got Mickelmore, Urquio and Howe as well. Just not exactly running side by side 3 wide, but still running 3 different grooves here. You can see that there again. Ed Foster gets down on the apron, down the inside. He doesn't want any of that as James Robbie joins the pack with Mickelmore, Urquio and Howe. Urquio looks like he's got a good run on here on Howe. He's going to get down the inside. He's going to try and close the door on him. Move up over Howe. Of course, Howe on older tyres.
Howe and Urquio make contact there. And that's going to bring out another caution. A few cars getting caught up in that as well, I think.
That is huge.
That's a big crash. That could have been a lot worse, but a lot of cars getting caught in that. That was a big one. And it's caused a secondary crash. Jason Martin getting caught up in that one. Jason Martin really getting caught heavily in that, as well as Jaden Russell. So the two front guys getting caught up in that one. That was a big crash.
Yeah, we'll just try and unfold it a little bit here. I'll go back through that again. And I think it was Trahair there, got really lucky again. Might have just clipped Urquio on the way through.
Yeah, he just clipped him and went up, unfortunately, and then he went up into the wall, so he didn't get too lucky. He could have been much worse for him. The guy that did get very lucky to get through that was Matty Raymond. He had a prime view of that whole incident, so we'll try and jump on board with Matty Ray there and see what happened. So as you can see from up front, these cars, you're going to see smoke pouring everywhere. You're not going to be able to see anything from the front windscreen for a moment. This is the view from the driver's seat. You can just see the smoke of the tyres just peeling up. You can see Jason Martin and Jaden Russell in front of him right there. I think it's going to be Jason Martin come flying down the track any second now. And you're going to see Matty Raymond just squeeze his way through this incident. Very lucky to avoid that. Just see as he gets between the two cars, breathing in almost. He gets so lucky. Scotty Rankin getting caught up at the back there. But Mr. Clean keeping it clean once again.
And that Mr. Sheen on that car just allows him to squeeze through and get away with that one. Just going to have a look at it quickly from Foster's viewpoint as well, because I think he just managed, he just managed to shoot down onto the infield there as all hell unfolded behind him, and managing to get through clean there as well. So he'll be happy with that, because of course he dropped a few spots early on, and with that big slide that he had, and ended up just dropping down in the mid-pack there, so he'll be happy he didn't get caught up in all of that, and now ends up back in the lead pack at the end of it all.
He got very lucky to avoid that, and just as that accident was happening, actually, Ryan Jones had just overtaken Dave Douglas, so he just made that position, so he's gained the lead of the race on pace at the moment. So Ryan Jones in the lead there, and he's got some very nice fresh tyres compared to Dave Douglas, so this is going to be good news for Ryan. We've got Josh Mickelmore there in third, and of course Dave Douglas in second, so that has taken out a few major contenders, though, unfortunately. Big ones, of course, is Jaden Russell and Jason Martin. Both of those guys very quick. They are always up there. Jason Martin not out at all, but it was very close indeed. That was almost a very big. That was almost a lot of cars getting taken out. So a few people got very lucky there.
And we've dragged Aidan Schultz up into the box. Aidan's been down in the infield medical centre with Trudy, who's on duty tonight. Trudy doing a good job there to look after Aidan. Probably a bit of a stiff neck after that one, mate.
Yeah, there's nothing I can say about that. I'm absolutely disappointed. Really devastated with the quality of driving tonight. Had a really good truck for once, and we were going really well right up there in the top 2 or 3, and people didn't take tyres, and people need to know when to yield. And yeah, I'm really disappointed tonight. We can't blame any black cat tonight. I just think quality of driving that's happened, we've seen that with a lot of the incidents tonight, has been a little bit lacklustre, but that's probably me being a little bit of a sore loser. But yeah, very disappointed that we didn't get the cranky sports car around. We're only 20 laps into 100. We're just a fifth of the way there. So yeah, I'm really disappointed about tonight.
No, and fair enough too, mate. I think sentiments echoed from a couple of the other drivers who are out already, so we'll obviously have a look back at the replay and digest what goes on, and I'm sure the guys will have a look at it at the end of the race. It's bad luck.
Yeah, yeah, it's bad luck. It's all good. It's racing. We go again next week at the end of the day. But the only thing I've got to say is, you know, and I'm one that gets involved in incidents sometimes as well. I'm not the best, but you know, when people don't pit, Dave Douglas is amazing. He did good. There was nothing wrong with that restart from Dave's point of view. The other driver in front of me, without naming names, you know, fighting too hard when you don't have the gear under you causes incidents, and that's exactly what happened there. And it just gets a bit frustrating, and it's like, you know, you got another 80 laps to go. Just relax. You'll come into the back end. So yeah, frustrating because we had a good Crank Esports truck tonight. We really were making a good showing for once. Felt really comfortable on that high line, as you saw early on, and it come to nothing. So, but that's all right. We'll be back on Thursday night in the special series that they're doing on dirt, and we'll be back every time. So that's why we do it. We love it. So thank you guys for broadcasting and bringing me up, and look forward to hopefully one day being in the top 3 to be able to have a chat to you on a brighter note.
Absolutely, Aidan, and yeah, bad luck for tonight. It was a good show, good qualifying effort, and look forward to seeing you on Thursday night.
No worries, guys. Have a good show, and I'll keep tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Aidan. Aidan Schultz there, unfortunately, a night not going his way after a good early showing in the Crank Esports entry. I think his teammate as well looked to head out of this race too, so not a great night for the Crank Esports boys, but they will rise again as Ryan Jones got a cracking restart there. Josh Micklemore has taken over position 2 from Dave Douglas, both on fresher tyres than Dave, and Dave will just be looking to hang on here. Hopefully we get a good green run. James Robbie right behind him with Foster in the top 5. We've got Davison, Priest, Clark, Dillon and Heddersheed running inside the top 10.
Yeah, we've got a race on our hands now, and hopefully these guys will just start driving a little bit more sensible. That's the thing. Sometimes is you get that moment of excitement under your belt, and then things accidentally happen. One to watch out for, though, I think he's going to have a bit between his teeth, is going to be Jason Martin. He's just making a move a little bit further down on Christopher Finlay right now, and he's going to try and work his way up. He's got a bit of damage on that truck, but not enough to knock Jason Martin out of contention. So keep an eye for that 21 through this race, because I expect to see it back within the top 10 before we get halfway.
That truck actually looks in relatively great condition, I would say, from the incident he was involved in. You can see there a little damage on the right rear quarter, but other than that, the front of it looks to be pretty close to factory spec. So yeah, I'm with you. I expect to see him run back up towards the front. The other one I was looking at as well is Daniel Heddersheed. He had an early incident as well, got caught up in someone else's incident, but he's on freshest tyres in this top 10 at the moment. He hit it on lap 29 with Ruben Phelps, and so he's looking to take advantage of that, along with the man in front of him, Aaron Dillon, who put it on lap 22. The rest of our top 10 lap 16 or earlier, so expect these guys to make up some pace as well on our front trucks.
Yeah, Josh Micklemore making the move for second place. He's just got past Dave Douglas. So again, another person to watch out for. Hopefully, we won't say anything about Micklemore right now, just to avoid any sort of ever curses. But he's got some good pacing, and he's got to start catching Ryan Jones, who's got a good lead at the moment. Dave is not going to let that happen, though. He's going to sit right on the back of that Mitch Motorsport Cup truck and try and keep up there. So keep an eye out for Micklemore as well. He's got some pace underneath him. Ryan Jones, meanwhile, has got a nice bit of a lead. He's got about 0.3 of a second buffer at the moment. But is he pushing a little bit too hard too quickly? We sometimes see that from Ryan, as he just uses up the tyres a bit too quickly. He confesses that himself a little bit. He's not the kindest person on tyre wear, but he's got speed when it's there. And if he can use that pace to his advantage, this could work out very well for him, because I imagine he'll be looking at coming in relatively earlier than some of the others when it can get to a point where he can get to the end, and then trying a bit of the undercut as well if it remains green.
Just jumped on board with James Robbie there, who was all over the back of Dave Douglas. He's just dropped off a little bit. It's allowed Foster to close up on the back of him, and we've got a lap car there, lap truck I should say there, up in the top. That's the 131, I think that was. I didn't quite see it. Could be Steve Hoppett there. There's a big drift there from Robbie, the 41. That's made him lose some pace. And Foster and I think Troy Davison here looking to pounce on the lack of grip out of the back of James Robbie's car there. Truck there. So Foster down the inside, hasn't been able to quite close it out. They're just not quite far enough up. And Robbie's not going to let him take it easily. Dave Douglas is next on their list. This group here just trying to work through this segment of the race. I believe, Carl, if I'm not wrong as well, we can go to the end here. Albeit I don't imagine anyone will, but they can probably make it to the end here on fuel.
Just thinking about that, I think it's going to be a little bit close. So I think everybody will have to stop one more time, just on my numbers. But they're sort of getting to that stage where they can think about it possibly, but they've got to do a lot of fuel saving to get that working. I think they'll be looking at one more stop at least, probably in about 3 or 4 laps time. So I think that's going to be the point where they can pretty much get it to the end. There's a little bit of contact on the outside with Dwayne Priest. He has just managed to keep that truck going, just got caught out a little bit. I think just on the outside of Foster, he just got a little bit high and just got up into the wall, so he managed to keep that truck going and no caution needed there. But yeah, it's just to that stage now where they can pretty much pit any time now and get to the end. So it is very much at that tipping point. I didn't realise what lap we were on, sorry, but yes, it is to that point.
We've got Foster here under the pump from Aaron Dillon and Daniel Hedersheed. Much newer tyres. I say much newer, 6 laps to the good for Dillon. Hedersheed is a whopping 13 laps to the good, so he should have the pace to get underneath here. We're starting to get up onto the back of James Robbie and Troy Davison in front, so this group is growing by the corner. Now 5 cars involved here, and Dave Douglas won't be too far away either from this pack. Imagine he's just up the road a little bit here from Troy Davison, but James Robbie here looking pretty pacey in the 41 entry, and we know what he can do. So Davison here trying to maintain the position with the on the older rubber that Robbie's on as well, actually. So interesting to see the difference in pace between those two, given they're both on tyres that have suffered the same pain so far during this race, and Aaron Dillon putting him under pressure as well.
Yeah, there's actually a bit of a gap forming now between Dave Douglas and Troy Davidson. This is giving Douglas the opportunity just to stretch out a little bit of a lead. He's got about a second over Davidson at the moment. Davidson just backing this pack up a little bit. So this is helping those guys out the front get some breathing room. At the moment, Ryan Jones has got 1 second lead over Josh Micklemore. Micklemore has got about 0.8 of a second over Dave Douglas. So they've all got a nice bit of lead at the moment, and then there's a second back to this fight, as they are going 3 wide for a couple of modes. You see Ruben Phelps just trying to go down the inside there as well. Phelps on some fresher tyres too, as well as Matty Raymond. Matty Raymond down there on the inside at the moment as well, taking advantage of that grip on that truck at the moment. You can just take that tighter line and make it work for yourself. So he's using those tyres up to his advantage at the moment. And what do we always say about Matty Raymond? Watch out for him in the race, because he's always got some good pace underneath him as well. So he's just going to be fighting it out with James Robbie as well now, and expect to see him get underneath James Robbie without too much effort. They'll be running side by side for a little bit of time, but we should see Matty Raymond just get up ahead of that truck in a few laps, I would say. As Ruben Phelps is also in that fresh tyre club as well and putting the pressure on, and he's got a relatively clean car out of the drivers up in that pack at the moment. Daniel Hedersheed has got quite a bit of damage on there, but doing a good job nonetheless of keeping the truck up there. He just wants to finish nice and close to Foster. That's going to be his goal tonight, just to keep the championship hopes and options alive. But you can see a lot of defending going on there. Foster just cutting down in front of Phelps, trying to keep that position. He does not want to keep dropping back at the moment. He wants to be as far away from Hedersheed as possible, but he is starting to struggle a little bit. He's having to run that slightly higher line. He's not able to get underneath as much as he wants. He's got to try and get past Aaron Dillon as well. So he's battling and defending at the moment. He's got two jobs going on at the same time.
We just saw the gap there closing a little bit between Davison and Douglas. Davison just breaking away from the pack of Raymond, Robbie, Dillon, Foster, Phelps, Hedersheed and Finlay. So that has given him a bit of breathing room, and he's now closing in on Dave Douglas in front of him, and Ryan Jones and Josh Micklemore at the front. You just see Micklemore at the top corner of the screen there, but these two have checked out. Nearly 2 seconds to the good Ryan Jones at the front here. As you mentioned, Carl, what's that going to mean for his tyre numbers, though, as he continues to push at the front? He's been on these tyres since lap 16, and amazingly, Dave Douglas on the same set of tyres from lap 7. So these guys at the front on the ageing tyres, but as that group behind them continues to battle away, they're going to continue to use up that advantage that they had. So in a good position at lap 51 of this race, Ryan Jones in the lead.
Matt, one of the people I said watch out for, Josh Micklemore, has now turned the fast switch onto his car. He's taking out about a tenth a lap at the moment of Ryan Jones's time. You can see on screen there they are visually getting closer as this goes on. Josh Micklemore is absolutely catching Ryan Jones hand over fist at the moment. He's doing a good job of catching up to that car. It looks like Ryan Jones' tyres might just be starting to be dropping off a tiny bit now, and he's just falling into the grass, but there is a lot of lap traffic coming up as well. So that is going to be making things a little bit trickier for Ryan if he doesn't get through there too quickly. That could cause a little bit of a moment for those guys. Of course, lap cars don't have to jump out the way, so they don't have to pull themselves out of position. They can easily fight to keep on the lead lap. Not that they always will. Some of them will just easily let you by and not put up too much of an effort, because sometimes it's quicker just to let the leaders by and try and fight them and end up losing positions. Meanwhile, Ruben Phelps has managed to get past Aaron Dillon a little bit further down the field for P6, so he's working his way back up the field. With all this battling that's going on from P6 down, it has allowed the likes of Jason Martin and Justin Howe to catch up to the back of this pack again. Those guys involved in the last caution, of course. Jason Martin is trying to catch up to Daniel Hedersheed at the moment, but he is slowly clawing his way up there. He's almost into that top 10.
They're doing a good job of a recovery drive there as well, so they continue to press the drive on that one, try and get themselves back up into this battle, maybe make something out of this race. Definitely want to get inside the top 10 where they can, and they're joining on to the sustained battle of this race so far. It's starting ever so slightly to break up. As you can see there, Ruben Phelps is checked out with Aaron Dillon. They're on the freshest rubber out of this group. Christopher Finlay pitting on lap 29. He's just lost a spot to Ed Foster. So we'll see when that one plays itself out as it is. James Robbie doing a good job here in the 41 still. So these guys will be planning a potential green flag pit stop some stage.
Just watching up the front. I was just watching Ryan Jones's car, and it's just starting to get a little bit tail happy at the moment. That back end is starting to step out a little bit here and there on him, so he might be just starting to struggle a little bit with those rear tyres. So we'll see how that goes. Those tyres have done almost 40 laps now. Dave Douglas in third place is almost getting towards 50 laps on those tyres, so he is doing a mammoth stint at the moment, but he's getting caught very quickly by Matty Raymond. 27 old lap tyres. He's definitely got some good pace out there with that little bit more rubber on board those tyres.
He's catching on him, but catching and passing, two different things. Just see there the gaps open up a little bit again between Raymond and Douglas. So they will be hoping to just manage this through to either another caution period or to pit at around the same time as these guys are doing remarkably well on such old tyres. So oldest in the field in terms of laps turned. So some 9 laps older than Jones and Micklemore in front. And I can tell you, he's matching their lap pace. So he's not doing too bad there.
Tyre wear, it is a thing here, of course, but it's not a... You can keep them going for a relatively long time, but it is a skill of keeping the tyres alive, because eventually they will get to a point where they just start to really drop off and pace just starts to plummet. So that can be one of the trickiest things to keep going out there, because it's very easy to have the tyres just drop off the cliff and all of a sudden you just find yourself struggling. Daniel Hedersheed has pulled the trigger. He's come into pit lane, so he's the first of the cars to stop. He was on relatively fresh tyres. He had only been on 30 laps, so he is the first of those cars to stop. So let's see if he's going to get those repairs done, get some new tyres on, get back out and see what sort of lap times he can set.
Absolutely. So just looking back through the field here, this is still the battle to focus on. Kid Foster will be thinking, damn, I don't need this. Just trying to put through a point tool there as wow, James Robbie and Christopher Finlay get real close, running 3 wide on old tyres and managing to keep it clean. But yeah, Foster will be just looking to bank some points here. 3 wide behind him again as the 78 of Justin Howe makes his way through. Keeps it nice and clean. But there's that man, Jason Martin. He's involved in this pack as well. So Howe and Martin have made their way back up into this group, and Martin's knocking on the door here of getting back into the top 10, which will certainly be a good result given the incident that he was involved in.
Yeah, the crash he had, it was a fairly big one, and he's got lucky to avoid more damage than he actually got in that one. So luck can go your way sometimes in motorsport. It is the thing. You either have good luck or bad luck. There's not usually in between luck. So it looks like some good luck's happened for Jason, despite there being a bit of bad luck involved in it as well. Just having that bit of a cleaner car, all very close there as Christopher Finlay just getting past a lapped car. He just had to really snap that underneath there. So very, very close. Matty Raymond is catching right onto the back of Dave Douglas, who is coming into pit lane, I think. So Dave Douglas has pulled the trigger. He's coming into pit lane. So this answers our question of how long cars can feasibly go. 54 laps for Dave Douglas. So he's going to pop it in there, get some fresh tyres on that car. He'll be looking forward to having some fresh boots on that truck, because the ones he had will have had some holes in there for sure. We're seeing a lot of drivers come in now in response to that. We're going to see Ryan Jones and Foster coming in, Josh Micklemore as well. So we're going to see a whole spat of cars coming in. Ruben Phelps deciding very late to come in. He managed to save that one. It almost turned around on him. But good job of getting that car down pit lane for Ruben Phelps. He was the last of the late breakers. So we'll see how this pans out for a few of the other drivers once this gets underway.
Yeah, see the difference in pace here for Douglas as he checks back out of pit lane. He will be ready to go. Foster joins him, as I said, Jones, Micklemore, Phelps, Clark. So see what happens here. Matty Ray has decided it's time for him to jump in. As I say, Troy Davison will surely follow. Justin Howe takes the lead of this race, and he's got Jason Martin with him now. They pitted on lap 29 and 30 as well, so they will need to make another stop shortly, you would assume. Ryan Jones, they're down on the return line from pit lane, so he's going to be a lap down to start off with, but obviously that will correct itself as we roll back through the services for these trucks.
Question is do you roll the dice a little bit here? Do you stay out? Do you keep out just in case there is a caution? A caution right now could make Justin Howe and Jason Martin's race come absolutely alive. As you said, those drivers that come into pit lane have dropped down a lap. So they've dropped down a sort of a lap. The driver on the lead lap that has pitted, I think, is Josh Micklemore. So he is currently on the lead lap. So we're going to see a few cars coming in right now, but who, if anyone, is going to stick it out there for the long term and just hope for a late caution? I think it might be Jason Martin to salvage this race. He might just stick it out there for as long as possible. And as we see the 78 going off in pit lane, Justin Howe.
And he's going to reverse it up pit lane here. It's a bit agricultural. He's doing his Austin Powers entry.
He will be getting a penalty for that, I can guarantee, because he missed the cone, he missed everything and went across the grass, but didn't bring out the caution, but almost caught one of the sim boys there. I think that was trying to work out who that was.
Martin jumps into pit lane, so Martin in pit lane, Mick Taylor as well, and Lachlan Urquio is now the leader of the race after his unfortunate start to the evening.
In theory, Lockie could go another 10 laps out there and keep it going. He's got a bit of a gap between himself and Josh Micklemore at the moment. It's not a huge gap, but it is a gap nonetheless. So he could keep it going out there until he gets caught by Micklemore. Sure, it's going to cost him later in the race, but if a caution comes out, he'll be sitting quite pretty at the moment. He will, of course, pick up a bonus point for leading the race, so that is always helpful, but you'd probably consider rolling the dice a bit if you're Lockie, just in case, because if a caution does come out right now, he's going to be in a very good spot for this race.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's worth the gamble for him, with all these cars on different tyre strategies as well. Got 30 to go next time around, and there's every chance that he could get some luck here and make some positions up under the caution. So see how this plays out. We'll stick on board with Lockie for a bit here, of course, returning to racing after a couple of weeks off. He's been back now for nearly 2 weeks, so sure he is enjoying being back in the truck as well, albeit tonight not necessarily the luckiest of nights for him.
No, just looking back a little bit to P2, Josh Micklemore managed to jump Ryan Jones in pit lane. His pit stop was about 2 seconds faster than that of Jones. Although Jones is absolutely flying out there on track, he is using up those tyres like they are not being paid for by him. So he is absolutely driving like he stole it.
I believe they say when it's not paid for that it's either free or stolen. I was wondering which way you were going to go with that one.
Driving it like a hire car, I'll put it that way for him. But yeah, he is using up every inch of those tyres at the moment to catch up to Josh Micklemore. Question is does that affect him come towards the end of the race? We've still got 29 laps remaining in this one, so you're going to want a little bit of rubber left at the end of this race. Those two cars are catching up to Lachlan Urquio in the 42 quite quickly, and you're going to see a passing position very, very soon as Micklemore gets underneath Lockie and gets the lead of the race once more. Ryan Jones is going to get second place very, very shortly. So those guys flying past there. You can see the difference in tyre grip, and this is where Lockie is going to have to sort of go, well, it didn't work unfortunately. I might have to look at pitting in the next lap or two.
Yeah, there's no point when you're hemorrhaging time. Worth staying out there for a few laps to see if he could get some luck on his side, but hasn't played out at the moment at all. So he's now going to be caught by Dave Douglas, I think, pretty quickly as well.
He almost got his wish come true there as Scotty Rankin got involved with the 86 of Mick Taylor. Those two making contact, but no caution flown. They managed to both keep the cars pointing in the right direction. Good saves from both of those drivers, but unfortunately that's not going to help their races out. Those two just getting a little bit too close to the wall with each other, and that catching them both out. Meanwhile, chasing them down is Dave Douglas in third. He's managed to make up a whopping 28 positions, but he's got Matty Raymond right on his tail at the moment. Matty Raymond's going to be absolutely bored of looking at the back of Dave Douglas's car. He's going to be thinking, I've seen enough of that green and fluorescent pink colouring for tonight. I want to be in front of that and show him my rear sponsors for a while. because he's been staring at that for a lot of laps now, Matty Ray.
He has indeed. Just not quite able to get it done. Just shows you the job Dave Douglas has done in that truck with those old tyres. He's maintained the pace for a long time. Now he's on fresh tyres and doing a job again. So he's having a cracking run. Christopher Finlay's got some pace at the moment as well, actually. He was the fastest man on track last time around. He's running around with Daniel Hedersheed just outside the top 10. They are battling for position. And in fact, Hedersheed there just losing a spot to Jason Martin, who pops in down on the inside and says, I'm going to have a play here as well, boys. So you better get the elbows out. And there's three battling away. This is for 10th, 11th and 12th as Lachlan Urquio does jump into pit lane. So he's had enough on those older tyres. He'll get a new set on and get himself back underway for the end of the race. Shouldn't cost him too badly, actually. We've only got the 19 cars on the lead lap at the moment. So he'll get out and probably get into a battle with Norm Clark, Nathan Rawlett, Gary Woman and Mick Taylor.
Yeah, it's not the best thing to happen to Lockie. It's going to drop him down sort of a fair bit, but he at least tried it. That's the thing. And he's going to have some nice, fresh, sticky tyres to the end of the race as well. That's going to help him out a little bit. That's what's currently helping out Jason Martin, who's catching on Christopher Finlay at the moment. Who, as you said, Christopher Finlay is the fastest car on the track at the moment, but he is only a couple of thousandths of a second faster than, well, a couple of millionths of a second faster than Jason Martin behind him. Jason Martin is just sticking to the back of that Simboys car and just using it as a brake almost, just enjoying that nice little bit of draft he's getting. That's going to help some of the damage on the right rear of Jason Martin's car. So that's just going to sort of negate a little bit of that damage to that vehicle. So they should be gaining up a few positions shortly. So keep an eye on that battle, because that's going to start heating up as it goes along. Looks like Ryan Jones has started dropping off a little bit of pace at the moment, and Dave Douglas has got passed by Matty Raymond for a couple of seconds, but it's not going to last across the line as Dave Douglas gets back in front there. Those two are side by side at the moment, battling it out for third and fourth position.
Yeah, they've just been switching positions here over the last couple of laps. You look back through and it's Douglas, Raymond, Raymond, Douglas, Douglas, Raymond, Raymond, Douglas on our timing screen as Douglas here just pulls up behind the 131 of Steve Hoppett. Doesn't hold him up too much at all, which is good stuff from Steve Hoppett there. Dave just getting a little bit loose, but not too bad, but it is going to allow Matty Raymond, I think, to try and get in front of him again here. Down on that apron, Dave using the higher line to good effect, but Matty Ray here just not letting up at all. So who's going to be? Somebody's going to wear their tyres out a little here, both of them probably. So it does help out. Mickelmore and Jones in front. Even Ruben Phelps potentially able to close up on this battle. We've got 21 to go. He's about 4 seconds behind. So if these two keep this up for too much longer, they're going to cost themselves some time.
In theory, that low line is the faster line because it's the shorter part of the track, but that high line uses a lot less tyre, so that high line tends to work out a little bit better sometimes for tyre preservation. So it's a real battle of who's got the pace at the moment, and both of them have that pace, but you've got to say in the long run it's looking good for Dave, but Dave makes contact with the wall and that's not going to help him out. That's going to give Matty Raymond the opportunity to fly by there and take third position.
Well, somebody had to give, or something had to give, and it was Dave Douglas there, as you say, up in the wall. Pulled him back a bit, so Matty Rainier out into third position at a second and a half in front of Dave Douglas. The question is, has he got enough? Has he got the pace with 19 to go to get up onto the back of Ryan Jones and challenge for that next step on the podium? Let's see how he goes. Jones, as you say, his pace has dropped off just a little. And the 111 here running in second place. Matty Raymond up 15 spots, has to be said as well. Dave Douglas up 27 positions. Ruben Phelps up 14. So lots of movement within inside our top five, and including, of course, Josh Mickelmore leading the race up 7 spots from his qualifying position as well.
Yeah, really good job from those guys. Just a little bit further back, Christopher Finlay is doing a great job of just charging his way up the field at the moment. on those slightly fresher tyres. Him and Jason Martin on similar strategies. Jason is just sitting right behind Christopher at the moment, so Finlay and Martin are just working their way up. They've got Foster in front of them now, and they are catching on him. So expect those guys to start catching him as the laps start to wind down, and Jason Martin looking to get possibly up into the try and maybe even get into the top 5, but at least up there in the top 8 in positions at the moment. He's doing a good job and he is on course for that.
Yeah, great return drive from Jason. So Ed Foster, haven't spoken much about him. He's just been keeping quiet now in 7th. Just managed to have that battle pack settle itself through the pit stops. Spread out a little bit now, so Troy Davison in front of him. Got a little bit of breathing space back to Christopher Finlay behind him as Lachlan Urquhart goes back into pit lane. So not sure what the deal is there. That already stayed in pit lane. So just didn't catch that beforehand.
I think he might have been. I think he stayed in pit lane because he's a fair few laps down. He's 8 laps down now, so I think he saw the writing on the wall for that car, unfortunately, and decided to pull it out behind the wall for the race, unfortunately. So did not pay off for Lockie. Real shame because he was running really well in the early stages there before that incident.
So just keeping an eye on the gap here between Josh Micklemore and Ryan Jones. You can just see Jones there down on the lower line. He's coming up behind Norm Clark, I believe it is, in front of him. It's going to be a lap traffic. And then he also has to make his way past I couldn't quite see that there.
Justin Howe.
Justin Howe. Yeah, it is Justin Howe. Thank you there. Justin Howe in front of him as well. So a little bit of lap traffic. But Micklemore's got through it relatively quickly. So it's a nice open track to keep control of this race for the Mitch Motorsport boys. Very strong showing here from him. He's done a ripping job to get it up to front spot, and we'll just keep an eye on how he goes. In the meantime, Christopher Finlay is closing in on Ed Foster here.
We've got a car off. We've got Dwayne Preece off. A big moment for him. Is it going to bring out the caution? He might get away with this one, but the back end stepped out. He had a big tank slapper and then has gone across the infield, and luckily we didn't get a caution, but you can see here just had that tank slapper, couldn't quite save it. Unfortunate for Dwayne, he was sitting there in 12th position. That is a good night for him. That's the end of his race. Yeah,
the motor just giving up on the other side of that impact with the wall, and he's back in pit lane for the for the remainder even of his evening. So bad luck there for Dwayne.
Yeah, real shame. He's having a fairly good run up there. Speaking of people having fairly good runs, Daniel Heddersheed is doing a good job of keeping his car on the lead lap at least, but also keeping it in a fairly good position. He's in P11 at the moment. The car is very second hand. You would not get that. You'd not get your deposit back on that one if you took it back to the dealership. They would very much reject you and tell you to fix it. It's very much damaged, but he is doing a good job of keeping it out there. He's also on the oldest tyres as well, because he was one of the first people to stop in that the green flag stops as well, just trying to get a little bit of an undercut to try and offset some of that damage. Didn't quite work out for him, but has given him P11. He's got a good couple of seconds ahead of Michael Shaw.
Yeah, Michael Shaw here, I haven't said too much about him either tonight. He's just been running his own race. Started at the rear of the field. He's up 21 spots into 12th position, and he is closing on Heddersheed. He's got time here potentially to get up into 11th place. Much fresher tyres, pitting on at lap 66, and he's lapping 2/10 to 3/10 quicker on average than Heddersheed in front of him. So this one might come right down to the line as we've got 10 to go here. And both cars there on the lead lap, so it will be 4 positions. It just drops under 3 seconds, so we'll keep an eye out on the gap there between Heddersheed and Shaw, and hop back to that one in a couple of laps' time. In the meantime, Christopher Finlay now under pressure from Jason Martin. Martin, Mitch Motorsport 21 entry. He's right up on the rear quarter there, and Edward Foster not too far in front, so this battle here, 7th, 8th and 9th, not over yet either, as we have 9 to go.
Yeah, I was about to say about this battle because they have caught up to Foster quite quickly, and they've got onto the back of Foster. So if they can keep running together a little bit longer, maybe about 2 or 3 more laps, just to get up to the back of Foster, they could be in for a good spot. But I think Jason Martin has had enough of looking at the back of Finley's car. He wants to get ahead of it and become the lead car in that little pack. Just get a little bit further ahead and try and get that position. So keep an eye on that battle because it's definitely going to start heating up, especially towards the end of the race.
Yeah, it's good after 92 laps, 93 laps now. We've got plenty of action to still unravel here. We've got 3 packs still battling away. I was just having a look there as well. I think Ruben Phelps, no, it wasn't Troy. I just saw Troy Davison there. I thought he was battling with Phelps. He's not, just getting past a back marker. Phelps out sort of in no man's land, along with Dave Douglas. He's also the same. They're just jogging their own tune at the moment. Finlay, Edward Foster and Jason Martin.
Foster's definitely losing speed. He seems to be struggling a little bit. Of course, those guys behind him are on much fresher tyres. Like I say much, just a couple of laps, about 3 or 4 laps fresher tyres, but they are fresher tyres nonetheless. So Foster is struggling a little bit here, and that front damage on that truck as well won't be helping too much, but all 3 of those trucks have got a little bit of damage here or there, so they're very much in the same pack, but Foster's the only one with front damage, so that could be affecting him a little bit more than some of the others. And you can see Christopher Finley is really catching up to him right now.
Yeah, just using that higher line as well, Foster there. So he's got 5 to go to defend the position here. And they're coming up again on some lap traffic as well, so that's going to play into things.
And that pack is actually catching Troy Davidson. Troy Davidson is losing a little bit of time as well. He's starting to fall into the grasps of Foster, Finley and Martin as well. Though, yeah, he's actually losing quite a bit of pace as Finley tries to get under Foster this time around. Doesn't quite make it. But this battle is heating up for P6, 7, 8 and 9. This is soon to become a relatively big battle, I would say.
Just say the 104, Finlay there, trying to get down underneath. Foster's not quite able to get it done. He's got a good run here. And Martin's going to try and go with him. Foster will be defending as much as he can, as much as the tyres will commit, but he'll have one eye on the championship standings as well. So,
and they are coming up to a lapped car as well. Kay Donnelly in front of them as well. So this could be, this could come to play a little bit, of course. And, you know, teammates sometimes can be useful for certain things when you're in lapped traffic, but I wouldn't suggest such a thing, of course. But it has been known in the past for teammates to help each other out a little bit.
An unconscious bias is what I think they call it. So, but he'll be on the radio telling him he's on his way through to make sure that he clears out some space so that this battle's not impeded. And he does just that, so as they all duck down to the low line. Oh, the 53 there of Foster struggling a little bit for grip. The 104, Finlay gets up there, right up behind Foster to try and make it happen. We've got 2 laps to go here. I can tell you it is still Josh Mickelmore, Ryan Jones and Matty Raymond out at the front of this one, who look like they're going to take home the bickies. Dave Douglas, Ruben Phelps and Troy Davison pretty stable as well. This is our closest battle on track, which is why we're here. Heddersheed and Shaw stabilised, so 11th and 12th there. Not too much going to be to report on that one, so we're going to stick with this battle here as we start our final lap. Josh Mickelmore halfway through his final lap. We'll cross to him in a minute or two. Foster's just managed to get a little gap here, and it is Finlay now under pressure from Jason Martin on the final lap of this race. We'll keep an eye on that one. We'll flick back to it very quickly as we're about to see Josh Mickelmore head across the line and take the win here at Chicagoland. A fantastic drive from him. Ryan Jones takes second place. He'll be pumped with that, and Matty Ray, WD-40, gets home in third. So we head back here. It's closed right up. It's Foster, Finlay and Martin. Martin goes down to the inside line in the drag. Not able to get it done. And they've closed that one out as well. Foster, Finlay and Martin, who've done a cracking job there in the finish of the race. And the other one that's getting close now is this one here. Not close enough, I don't think, between Heddersheed and Shaw, however. So Heddersheed takes that position. Shaw and Nathan Rawlach lead out our top finishers tonight on the lead lap. And we'll jump back here. Jeez, there's almost an accident there as well, as Phelps does a huge drift down into pit lane. Great one there, but not taking anything away from Josh Mickelmore. He's been the bridesmaid a lot this season in that Mitch Motorsport entry, but with I think 3 or 4 second positions across a couple of the series, and thoroughly deserves the win here tonight. A great run from him.
It's great to see Josh getting the win here tonight. He's had such bad luck last week as well with those 2 disconnections. So finally getting a good result for the Mitch Motorsport car. The number 31 of Josh Mickelmore is a well-deserved thing. Something we are happy about, and I'm sure he is going to be stoked about as well. Good finish for Ryan Jones as well there in 2nd position. Matty Raymond working his way up to 3rd, 15 positions gained. Dave Douglas in 4th, 27 positions gained at the end of that race. Amazing job from Dave working his way from the back. Ruben Phelps as well doing a good job, 14 positions gained in 5th position. Then we head to Troy Davidson, getting a great result there for 6th place. Edward Foster 7th, keeping a very fast Christopher Fenley and Jason Martin off his back in P8 and P9. James Robbie rounds out our top 10 for the night. A good, strong finish for James Robbie.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of those drivers coming back from incidents in a incident-filled race. We ended up only with, I think it was we've got top 13 cars on the lead lap, and there was plenty of carnage early on in the race as Mickelmore here just trying out what it would be to turn right for a little while, but making his way back down the track. And the driving standards tonight, there's going to be plenty of reviews. Had a number of our faster drivers knocked out early on in the race with a couple of restarts. In fact, I think we had 2 cautions in the first few laps, 7 or 8 laps or so. So there'll be a bit of work to do for the stewards after this one. But there is one thing absolutely assured, which is that Josh Mickelmore with a fantastic result there for the Mitch Motorsport team, and representing again.
Yeah, doing the lap of honour there, the reverse lap of the track. Not as easy to do in these cars as you'd think, because they are a bit off balance when you go the wrong way around the track, but he deserved that one. Yeah, absolutely. Start of the race was a little bit messy, unfortunately, but sometimes it can happen in races. It's one of those things of you never know how a race is going to go. You never know how things are going to go. Sometimes you just get caught out a little bit, and it seems like a few people did get caught out a little bit tonight, unfortunately. But we saw some great racing at the end, a lot of green laps towards the end of this race, giving us that green flag pit stop at the end, which was kind of critical there for a few drivers and really did liven things up. But we'll grab our top 3 drivers. So we will start with 3rd place man, Mr. Matty Raymond. Matty Ray, how's it going?
Yeah, good, Carl. How you doing, bud?
Good, thank you. Welcome back to the booth. It's great to see you here, and that was a very strong drive from yourself tonight.
Yeah, cheers, man. I might get back into qualifying. It seems to work for me now.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking a little bit about that in qualifying, just saying, how you'd said before, trying to get the qualifying results in there for yourself, trying to actually make it work a little bit better. You qualified in P18, for that one. Yeah. So sort of mid-pack almost. But you managed to work your way back up to 3rd again. So another strong race for you. Do you feel like you're getting on top of qualifying, or do you still need to get a little bit better on those qualifying runs?
Oh, well, I normally choose not to qualify just because I like to start at the back and try and avoid any carnage if possible, sort of thing. But yeah, it depends. Some races I like to qualify for, of course, road courses, and because you haven't got yellows and whatnot there. So, but yeah, no, it doesn't bother me either way. Sometimes I just like to qualify for the fun of it, but I'm not great on cold tyres in these things. It seems really, really loose in most cars, actually. So I'm never real quick in that aspect. It takes a few laps for them to warm up and get into it, sort of thing. But yeah, either or.
But once again, having some good, strong, long-run pace, and we did see a very close moment for you in that race.
I know.
I imagine you'd have been grasping the steering wheel quite hard at that one.
Yeah, I think I might have done some damage to it. I sort of flinched and it's made a big crack noise, so I've got to pull it apart, make sure I haven't torn the screws out of the engine, the motors in it. So, yeah, I did. Could have chewed up a crown mint pretty easy, I guess you could say.
Yeah, you managed to keep the car clean. You just unfortunately damaged the wheel.
yeah. Well, just cost me $400. But
Yeah, as long as the car's safe, that's all that matters.
yeah, I got a podium. That's it. Yeah.
No repairs on that one tonight. No, another strong performance from yourself, and another. Mr. Sheen does it again. You know, you've kept that car nice and clean.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Yeah, I like to try and keep it clean. They go a bit quicker without dents.
Absolutely. Now, congratulations on another strong finish. P3 with that one. Before I let you go, of course, the usual shout out on love to sponsors.
Yeah, all the usual guys. Scotty McClay down at McClay Mechanical. Johnny Larber at Mobile Brake. Who else have we got? We got the Felice guys over at KL Crash. Eric over at Silver Star Service and Restoration. And all the SRM boys, of course. The teammates that run with me, Nate and Mick, they've been putting a lot of effort in, and their results are starting to come through too. So it's always good to see.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Maddie Raymond. We will have you back in the booth, I'm sure, before the season's out.
Cheers, boys.
Next up, we will jump to second place finisher, Mr. Ryan Jones. Congratulations on that P2.
Yeah, I guess P2 is pretty good. I've had a pretty wretched couple of weeks in ANZCAR across trucks, Xfinity and Cup when I've jumped in. So good to come back and get a solid result tonight, even if, again, maybe could have gone one step further.
Oh, well, we love to see you as the bridesmaid. We don't like seeing you as the bride.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's a good run out there. You had some good pace out there tonight. What do you feel was lacking to get you up into that first position?
Clean air. It's just as simple as that. I mean, that stint before we pitted, Joshy was behind me and he started to catch me, and then got to about half a second back and stalled out and fell backwards again. It's just a clean air is so important. And then I came in responding to Dave pitting behind us because I didn't want to get undercut and lose that clean air. So I came in a couple episodes than I was planning, and then Joshy followed me, which annoyed me. And then I overshot the fit box, which kind of ruined me. Let him get in front. I ran him down. I was having a look at the lap times. I actually ran 3 laps after that pit stop, all quicker than what Joshy ran for his fastest lap of the race, but still couldn't get by him. I got up to 4 tenths back, and then Dirty Air stalled me out, burnt my stuff up, and fell back.
That does explain, actually, because I did want to ask you on that pit stop, because I noticed it was about 2 seconds slower, and I wondered what had happened in that one, but you've answered that question. It's a real shame to see that happen, because you had some great pace out there tonight. We saw you with some great pace in practice as well as qualifying. Obviously, not qualifying as high as you would have wanted to, I imagine, but you still had a good result out there for starting in 4th position. How tricky was it for driving out there tonight?
Rear end was really loose at the start of the stint. Coming out in the cold tyres as I come up to temperature, which was, I think, the reason we had those consecutive cautions at the very start of the race, because the tyres weren't properly come up to temp yet. But once we got in, it was pretty good to drive. Actually, the car was sticking all right. Once they started to wear a bit, you could get a bit of a slide going, which was a bit hard.
Did your car tighten up, Ryan? Your car ended up going tight? Yeah, mine ended up tightening up quite a bit.
Mine got loose.
Dirty air. Yeah, really. That's what I thought was going to happen. But yeah, mine ended up getting real tight towards the end.
I almost lost my car a couple of times in that first stint trying to stay ahead of Josh when the rear end came around. So yeah, it's pretty tough. But it was a nice handling car. It's the sort of setup I actually like to drive. So wow, it was pretty good today, I think.
I wasn't going to say about the almost losing it part, because we didn't notice that on the stream at all, right? So it's a good saves from there as well, because that back end looked like it stepped out for a moment, and I thought, oh, and then you caught it, and it was like, okay, that's some good news for you.
Yeah, I think if it was the last couple of weeks, I would have lost that for sure. But I think good weekend up in Warwick, and confidence is high, so I guess that transferred to racing. It was good.
Well, that's a dangerous thing. You having confidence is scary, because you're fast enough as it is. So I'm sure we will see you back in the booth with one step higher shortly. Not to give you the curse or anything. But before we let you go, Ryan, usual shout and love to sponsors.
Just the usual good old sim speed on the bonnet and the deck lid of the truck, and mum to keep on plugging away with a bald head now with the breast cancer, which we're taking pretty lighthearted, but she's having fun, and I'm loving the pink. The pink's growing on me, I got to say. The paint scheme, I think I might keep it.
I think it's working out well for you, and yeah, that's something I was meant to mention on. Is that hopefully your mum's on the up and up a bit, and we wish her all the best.
Cheers.
That's very good to hear. So the pink is helping out, hopefully, and good results like that is going to help you out a little bit, keep you smiling a bit more than usual as well.
100%.
Thank you so much, Ryan Jones there. Next up, we will jump up to Mr. Josh Micklemore of Mitch Motorsport, taking out the win tonight. Luckily, we did not see any internet issues for you this week, Josh. Bit of a rough one last week, but this week seems to have gone a lot better for you.
Mate, last week and the week before and Cup, the last month, everything's been bad luck for me. It's been a funny story, really. But my internet finally held up tonight, and we finally got it done.
Congratulations on that. We were talking a little bit about that, unfortunately, because it was a big story last week. Of course, we saw you having some strong races and then all of a sudden disappearing off our timing screens, which is not something we ever want to see. But hopefully that is all settled now.
Yeah, it sucks when you got 3-second lead and the internet just buzzes out. And then when you're running good at Sonoma as well, it buzzes out again. Seems to have sorted itself out, so fingers crossed it holds up like it has tonight and over the weekend. So, but yeah, it's pretty devastating when it happens. So, but yeah, it's good to get another win.
That's good news for us, good news for you, but bad news for the rest of the field, of course, because we saw just how strong you are when everything's working in your way tonight. A really good race from yourself, 7 positions gained. Obviously not the qualifying spot you probably would have wanted, but the race position is what matters, and you managed to get the number 1 at the end of this one.
Yeah, we're pretty bad in qualifying and practice. We weren't all that crash hard either, but I think, like Jonesy said, dirty air was a pretty big thing tonight, as you could see. But yeah, he made one mistake in pit stops, and that was enough for me to get by. So, but it would have been interesting if we didn't do that, see how close we would have ended up being. But yeah, it was a good fun race. Jonesy did drive pretty well tonight, pretty impressive. But yeah, just did one mistake, and that was enough for me to get it done.
If we give you an inch, you're going to take a mile, Josh, because you always are there or thereabouts, and once again that happens.
Yeah, give me little things like that, and I'll try and take advantage of it as much as I can. So, but
An A1 job from you tonight.
Well.
Congratulations on that win. Before I let you go, the usual thing of shout out and love the sponsors.
Yeah, Mitch Motorsport boys. Jace didn't have a good run tonight, but get your head up, mate. You'll get up there. And Daniel and Hamish in the Cup. BK Designs for sponsorship of the team. FGM eCast for putting on the broadcast, and I'll definitely watch that back later tonight. And ANZCAR putting on the league. If you haven't already, be sure to follow my page on twitch.tv/Mitchy41 and join the Mitch Motorsport crew on Twitch. Yeah, shout out to all the Twitch guys. They wanted a shout out, so if I do a shout out for them too.
No, awesome. Thank you so much, Josh. And I'm sure we'll catch you in the booth in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, hopefully all this bad luck's change around the other way for once. But yeah, cheers, guys.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a good night.
Cheers, mate.
So another race done, Stuart. Another truck race finished, and it was a bit of a rough one at the start, but that turned into a great race at the finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Battles right the way through, which was fantastic, right the way through to the end there. We saw that battle between Foster, Finlay and Martin as well go right down to the wire. But a really strong performance, and good to see Micklemore take home the Bickies after, as you said, a couple of bad luck strikes in the first races last week, and before that as well. He's certainly helped support a couple of the other Mitch Motorsport boys in their quest, where we've seen them take out 1-2s in the trucks as well. So good to see him get up for the win there. Good return to form for Ryan Jones as well, and nice to see Matty Ray getting up and about as another consistent top 10 performance from him, actually converting to a podium this week. So that's a cracking result for all of them. Just looking ahead, Carl, while you were having a chat with the drivers, to what we've got on here for the rest of the week, and it is Texas for us next in the Thunder Series. That's right, there's no broadcast on FGM Cast tomorrow night, mid-season break for the AusPro Sim Series. The boys there working away, which means I'll be spending the night either racing or working on the stream, probably a little bit of both, but there is no broadcast tomorrow at all, so do jump on YouTube if you're missing the AusPro Sim Series, and watch back on a couple of the races from last season. And then on Thursday night, no Cup Series either, but the good news is we are heading to our special event.
We have the prelude to the Dream event on Thursday night, with some good old-fashioned heat racing on a fantastic dirt surface. We'll be running the Dirt Pro late models at Eldora Speedway, and that is indeed for a very good cause.
Yeah, I just couldn't quite get that one to turn up on the screen there, which is what I was trying to do, and then my mic cut out again just at the end of the night, just to add to the mic woes we had at the start. So we'll get that resolved beforehand, but we are raising money for charity there as well. So jump into the stream. We'll have a few things set up where if you're feeling generous, you can donate $1 or $2 and get some money raised for a very worthy cause there. And if not, well, that's fine. Join us for some fun anyway and a chat on the stream. We're trying to get a field of 30 together there. I think at last count we're at 24 or 25. So there's still a few spots available. If it does go over 30, it's not a problem. It's heat racing anyway before we get into it. So the more the merrier. Come on down, bring a few of your friends and have yourself some fun. And then next Monday night, we are back again with the trucks, and we're headed to Talladega, which is going to be good to see as well. So plenty to come on FGM eCast as always. Carl, tomorrow night, Tuesday night, what are you going to do with yourself?
Oh, I'm not sure. I might even have a relax. Who knows? I might be able to relax my vocal cords for once, but probably not. I'll probably end up doing something in the background for something.
A what? A relax? I don't even know what you're talking about there. It's a word that is a foreign language. But no, thank you very much, as always, for bringing your expertise to the stream. It is always welcomed. And for those of you who tuned in tonight, thank you very much for joining the stream. If you're still watching, you'll see a couple of videos come up, and certainly a recommendation to follow us on YouTube. So if you could smash that subscribe button, turn on the notifications so you don't miss any of our events, it certainly helps our stream continue to grow as it is, and we appreciate it. So from us, FGM eCast, we'll see you back on Wednesday night with the Thunder Series from 7:45, where we get the next round. I think that's round 5 off the top of my head, and we're headed to Texas. So jump in and have a look at that. We will see you again on Wednesday night. From Carl with you, myself, FGM eCast, your E place for pace. Thank you very much and good night.